Howdy Tigers, all of our students and our parents and anybody watching this video. This is the Tiger Tales video brief for the week of September 17th. I encourage you to go to humbleisd.net/history because Humble ISD has created an amazing website who's looked at the history of Humble ISD, but also how the history of Humble ISD ties in with the history of the world and the United States at that time. So please look at that. So a little bit more history. The Humble area was originally part of Stephen F. Austin's colony that was established in the 1820s. The earliest land grant was given to David Harris in 1824, a member of Austin's colony. Now this piece of land that was given to him was on the east side of the district where the McKay Bridge, the bridge that connects Atascocita to Huffman, crosses Lake Houston. So all of y'all that are in the Pine Forest area, Walden area, hey, you are a part of history because that's where David Harris had his plot of land. Speaking of history, we're celebrating Humble ISD's 100th year in many ways, but one of them is dressing for the decades. This Thursday, September 20th, is going to be dressing for the 1920s. Now, many of y'all may not have flapper dresses and pinstripe suits just laying around in your closet, so we're going to have to be a little bit more creative. So some of our ladies, you may want to find just a pencil dress. At least I'm not a fashion in the ladies, but I've heard it's just those straight dresses, maybe with a nice wide-brimmed summer hat. Gentlemen, if you can find a fedora hat, a Homburg hat, or a Panama hat, that might be something you can do. Sometimes, maybe pulling up those slacks you've got up to just below your knees, wearing some Argyle socks, because those tall Argyle socks was the golfing attire of the 1920s. Maybe we want to dress as the working class of the people in the 1920s because that was right in the time where about half the people were still in rural communities and half the people were moving to cities for the industrial age. So that was that tipping point from when we started to say most people were doing agriculture to then after that going into about 1920s, 30s where it's just very heavy in the industrial age. So maybe you want to wear overalls with a button-down cotton shirt underneath that and then maybe a newsboy hat if you have one of those. Or maybe you want to dress to the best of your ability like some of the characters and the historical figures back then, like Babe Ruth wearing a Yankees pinstripe jersey, Henry Ford, Walt Disney, carry around a Mickey Mouse or a Minnie Mouse little animal just to show that you're, maybe with a suit or a tie or something like that to show that you're Walt Disney. We all know about Charlie Chaplin in the silent videos. Maybe have one of those small little mustaches with the hat and maybe a vest that he used to wear. Albert Einstein, Louis Armstrong, for those of that are our trumpet players, he was real big into as a jazz trumpeter. But I challenge you to try to dress up to the best of your ability like someone in the 1920s using clothes that you've already got in your closet or borrowing from grandma, grandpa, aunts, and uncles. We encourage you not to try to spend money on this unless you want to. All right, some news and announcements. And a lacrosse meeting. It's one of the growing sports in the Humble ISD area. We're having a lacrosse meeting on the east side of AMS on Thursday the 20th at 4:15. So if you're interested in lacrosse, please meet on the soccer fields just east of the building. Also, late arrival. I want to remind all of our families this Thursday, September 20th, we do have late arrival, but there's only two choices. Well, there's multiple choices, like if you want to stay home until 9:45, but really, with regards to being at school, we have the opt-out program where parents, it is no cost, can drop off their child on the bus lane around 8 or 8:15, and they will be supervised by adults until 9:45. So that's one option that AMS has available. The second is a child just staying at home until they can come to school about 9:45. So there's that time between 8:15 and 9:45 that we should have no students unsupervised on our campus, like playing basketball or football in the back. So parents, please do not communicate to your child that is okay to be on our campus unsupervised. They need to come either at 8 o'clock to opt out or wait until 9:45 to come into the building. And once again, parents, please drop your child off in the bus lane and watch them enter into the commons area. It is not a good idea to drop them off in the circle drive and trust that they're going to make it into the building. So please drive them into the bus lane. Also, Since we started a week earlier, I'm hoping this is not what I'm true, but we are seeing flu and strep, kids going home for that already in this middle part of September. So please, let's make every attempt to be proactive and preventative in keeping kids healthy and illness-free this year. So washing hands, extremely important. Maybe drinking more vitamin C like emergency, that would be great. But most importantly, if your child is showing signs of being sick, they have a fever, they're showing chills, it is best to keep them at home so that they're not exposed to other children who could have illness. So please make sure, let's because we know that last year was a really bad flu season, and we want to keep our young people healthy. Lastly, we have the annual fund. We're going to start pushing that around September 15th till about middle to end of October, and November is when we really push the annual fund. And please consider any gift. We will, even if it's just $5, that is basically an expression of you would like us to make our programs stronger. But a lot more information about the annual fund coming up. So thank you very much. It's been a wonderful 4 weeks. It's been great seeing a Destination Imagination getting started up, ACTS, to see our football games and volleyball games already taking place. It is a joy just to be with your kids. Y'all be safe and have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.